Wait, what? Hey, this is the Wait, What? Podcast with Mandy Brooke. I'm an entertainer, content creator, and musician. You may know me from my song parodies and funny antics on Instagram and TikTok. On my podcast, we try to make sense of the confusing parts of life because literally we're all winging it and have no idea what we're doing, and that's totally okay. So relax, grab a glass of wine, and let's chat. Hey friend, thanks for joining me today. Now, before we get started, I just want you guys to breathe in with me. We're going to take a moment and just be here together. So breathe in and breathe out. Again, breathe in and breathe out. And repeat after me. Everything I need is coming with speed. Again, everything I need is coming with speed. I really hope you attract positive outcomes and good vibes today. So, on my last episode, my mom answered your questions and gave her no-nonsense take on parenting and relationships. That was part 1, and now we're going on to part 2. So without further ado, let's get into the conversation. And if you're interested in my mom's advice, slide into my DMs on my Instagram and submit your question at Mandy Brooke Official. Mandy with a Y, Brooke with an E. So this next question is about turning 30 and how friendships change. So this person wrote in, I'm turning 30. I no longer feel connected to my earlier friends. How do I pull away without causing drama?
Don't pick up the fucking phone. Duh. Just go find some more friends. Go do something else. Like, just, you don't have to, like, make it dramatic. You just kind of focus on yourself and do whatever, let that lead you to where you need to go. Mm-hmm. Focus on what you want to do. And if they come along, great. And if they don't, fuck them.
I've found that as well in my life. Like, friends that I've had for a very, very long time, they've kind of tapered off because I'm going into a very specific direction in my life, and I'm really, really paying attention to like my passions and desires. And that's just naturally filtering out the people that are benefiting it and the people that aren't.
And that don't mean you don't have to be friends with them anymore. It just means that chapter of, you're not close to that one person all the time. Mm-hmm. It flows and ebbs and flows, and doesn't mean that you don't like that person or you're not friends with that person or you don't love that person. I have many friends that I don't talk to for months, and then I'll pick up the phone and be like, hey, and there's no, why haven't you called me bullshit. I don't have time for that shit. Mm-hmm. I do not play that. So it's not that I don't think about you or want the best for you or whatever. I just, just whatever.
We're
it
adults.
Is what it is. Yeah.
We're adults, and we have our lives going on, and we
don't take it personally.
Yeah.
But then again, if those same people was to call me up and say, hey, I need you, I'll drop every damn thing I'm doing and I'll be there.
Oh, absolutely.
And they know that.
I have many friends that I grew up with, I haven't spoken to in years, but if they ever called me and they were like, Mandy, I need you, I would totally drop everything and do whatever they needed, because it's just that relationship, that bond that can't be broken. So if you're turning 30 and your friends aren't really aligning with what's going on in your life right now, just don't really worry about it. It's
Ride the wave.
Ride it, yeah. And just know that if they're a mature relationship, then they're going to be around like 20 years from now.
And nowadays, you can reach out with that person's really important. And I do this often. Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm thinking about you. Doesn't necessarily mean I want to talk on the fucking phone. I do not. But, I might text them and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Just want to let you know, love you. I hope all is well. Period. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. I don't need to fucking talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good.
So a lot of people sent in this specific question.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
yes.
Lord. Okay.
Okay. How do you learn to not give a shit because you come off very like, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to say what I want. I have my own opinions. Fuck you if you don't like me. How do you get to that point in your life?
I think that at the end of the day, you have to lay your head down on your own pillow and close your eyes, and you have to be okay with what you did, with what you said, with what you are, and you're the only one that pays that consequences. And I have made some serious blunders in my life. I have made some serious mistakes, but they're mine, and you learn from them. So you have to own your shit. And quite frankly, for a while there, I didn't do that. You know what I mean? I kind of lost that a little bit. I softened a whole lot when I had you children. And, you know, this is a much, much softer version of me. When I was 18, you wouldn't even recognize me right now. Mm. You would not, as my daughter, recognize me as an 18-year-old. I've had to learn to not be so brash. And if I'm being honest, you know, you can't get your feelings hurt all the time. Like, you just got to stop. Like, stop taking stuff so personally. And if you was to come to me when you were little and say, Mom, I want to be a singer, and you sucked at it, I would have told you, you suck at singing. You know, you better pick something else. But you weren't. You were good at it, and that's why it was okay. But you just got to be honest, and you can't not be honest.
Mm-hmm. But there's a way to be honest, but not purposely hurt somebody as well.
Honestly, I would never go out of my way to hurt someone's feelings. I would not do that. And I think most people would not do that. I would like to think most people would not do that. Now, granted, there's been times where I've been angry, and yeah, I've thrown some real slingers, but
I was there for most of them.
Yeah. But for the most part, you can say things in an eloquent way without trashing them. Mm-hmm. And that's just a learned behavior, I think. Everybody's got a different version of you. Look, they're not going home thinking about you.
Yep.
They're meeting you for 5 minutes. They're talking about you or whatever, and they go home. And who gives a shit whether they're talking to their husband about you or not? You're not there to hear it. So it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. It matters what you think.
I agree with you. I actually said that in a previous episode. Like, the people that you're worrying about are not thinking about you as much as you're thinking about them.
Not at all.
You are honestly one of the kindest people I've ever met. And I'm not just saying that because you're my mom. You are very kind.
Thank you.
You always make sure you have something nice to say to someone. You're always smiling at people. Like, you always like brighten people's day and strangers and stuff. And I feel like I got that from you. Like,
that's sweet. Thanks.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
Oh, here's a good one. Advice on moving on from a guy that will ignore you, but will still message you at his convenience. Dude, block him. That's my advice. But what do you think, Mom?
Yeah, you got to stop that shit. That's where boundaries come in. You know, like, if they did you wrong and you're done with him, like, move on, you know, be done. Like, if you keep revisiting the same park, you know, that ride is not fun anymore.
Absolutely.
So you got to move on. And, you know, boundaries, it's boundaries. If they did you wrong and continually do you wrong, and you're in the position of collecting those flags, then pick up the phone, dumbass. You know, go ahead. Start talking to him again. That's just dumb. You're just dumber and shit.
Because you're just walking straight back into the fire.
Yep.
You know, I've found in dating this year that excuse me.
Hurry up, I need a cigarette.
I'm burping.
Oh. We need to take a break. I need a cigarette break.
I found in dating this year that it's good to set boundaries, but it's even harder to like uphold your own boundaries, because I think women, they really want validation and approval. And I mean, it's natural for everybody to want that, but it's particularly hard when you really, really, really like a guy and they're treating you like shit and you're just like, fuck, but I really want to see him again. That's the hardest part.
It is.
But you have to know your worth and you have to know your boundaries.
That's true.
All right.
That's very true.
Well, we're going to take a short break.
I need a cigarette.
But while we're gone, how about you guys listen to the sponsors that make our podcast possible?
Boom, boom.
Herbal Face Food is the most potent anti-aging skincare product on the market. Period. And I should know because I've been using it for months and I've literally been obsessed. Herbal Face Food isn't a magic potion. It's simply the best of plant science at work. No fillers, no chemicals, no BS. The powerful potent serum is packed with antioxidants that heal your skin at a cellular level from the outside in and addresses the top signs of aging in 3 days or less. I personally noticed a huge difference in my skin texture and the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles when I combined both the Serum 1 and the Cure to my routine. My skin tag on my neck actually fell off as well. It was gross, but amazing. So I definitely recommend. Click the link in my show notes and use code MandyBrook for 20% off your first order. Mandy with a Y, Brook with an E. Want to relax and take a literal chill pill? Love You 3 Luxe Gummies has your back. Love You 3 gummies are made with exclusive cannabinoid blends, including hemp-derived CBD, CBN, and Delta-8. They also include luxury ingredients dedicated to your physical health, like apple cider vinegar, collagen, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin D. I personally love the Beauty Sleep CBD product they offer, which has helped me sleep peacefully throughout the night. And if I'm partaking in the Delta-8 THC, the watermelon sugar is my ultimate go-to. So check out the link in my show notes and use code LOVEMANDY at checkout for free shipping. Welcome back. Okay, so I have a couple more questions for you, Mom. A person wrote in and asked, how do I deal with a mom who won't self-reflect? Because I live with her and it's becoming a little difficult.
Move.
Well,
especially if you're an adult.
Well, I will say on behalf of all adults out there, it's very hard to live by yourself now because everything is so unaffordable.
True.
So what if they're in a position where they cannot move at all? How can she or he deal with this?
That's a toughie. I mean, your mom's your mom or dad or whoever you're living with at the time. That's who they are. Accept them don't take it personally. Don't take everything that they say personally. Know that they have a problem, that they can't self-reflect, and do not take accountability for their actions. So therefore, that is not your problem. Don't take it on. That's their problem. And you have to somehow block that.
Yeah, you can't absorb it.
You can't absorb it. That's the word I was looking for. You got to know and accept them. I think that's a problem nowadays. Like, people are all labeling everyone. We're in a label society. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Instead of just, you might be all those things, but that's who you are. If everybody was the same, this would be a boring fucking world. I don't know, just if that person's loud and obnoxious, there's room for that somewhere. If that person's shy and, or whatever, that's who they are. It's not your job to fix anybody. Mm-hmm. It's not anybody's job to fix or label anybody else unless you go to a shrink, which, I would advise. It does help. But it's not the other person's job to invoke that on another person. It's not.
They just have to stay in their lane.
Yep.
Allow that person to be.
Unless they want to take it on and really, really, but they're not a shrink. So that's unfortunate. There's a lot of shitty people out there and you can't fix them all. Maybe you need to spend some time with her and what she likes. You might not necessarily like it, but give her that, 1 day a week or that one lunch on a Sunday or something. Maybe that's all that requires to keep her in her lane.
Okay.
She might like the races or something and you hate it. But, if you love your mom or whatever, you want to make peace, then you go that little extra bit and you take that couple hours and you do that something special with her. And maybe that'll help keep her in the lane.
You can definitely help raise the vibrations of the person around you.
Sure.
Especially if you're cohabitating and stuff.
You do for me.
Aw.
You do.
Thank you, Mom.
A lot. Yeah. And sometimes people don't know what they're doing either. Like sometimes you just get in a hole,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't see a way out of that hole. And, everybody needs a little help every once in a while. And when I was growing up, that's everybody kind of helped each other out. And this world, everybody's just walking by, and it's everybody needs a helping hand. You can't survive in this world by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Lone wolves don't do well.
As a daughter, I feel like I recognized this in you pretty early on, that you were like a human being. But like, I think a lot of people, it's still hard for them to see their parents as not all knowing human beings.
Correct.
Like we are all like just
I'm
winging
this shit. I am winging it the best I can. And I think that's very true. People have a perception of their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't fit in that perception, then you're all out of whack. They're just humans, and they make mistakes, and they don't know everything, and they fuck up, and they cry, and they have emotions, and they are just like you, just an older version. And a lot of people are just doing the best that they can do, and that's it. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And you really got to take a step back, especially as an adult, and you got to look at it and go, God, that's just a woman. That's just another human that's struggling right now.
So I think that's really good advice, Mom.
Thanks.
Yeah, you did. You're doing so good.
Thanks.
Oh my God, you should do a podcast.
No. That's your lane. I know my lane.
Well, I have one more question for you, and that's actually from me.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? There's something in the world you ain't talked to me about yet?
Well, I think people will benefit from your answer to this question. Because you definitely helped me out when I was trying to figure out where I was going to go with my life and do all these adventures and stuff. So what advice do you have for people questioning whether to take that big leap or to travel or to take a huge risk?
You have got to take risks in life or you'll never move forward. Don't let fear be an option. I mean, you can't go out and do stupid shit. Like, don't not pay your rent and go to fucking Greece or something. Like, that's just dumb. At some point, you got to reasonably weigh out the options. And the older I get, the more I wish I would have taken opportunities or done more or had more experiences. I think I even told you this. You can always make more money. You can never make more time.
Mm.
And that's huge. And it took me a long time to realize that. You can always make more money, but you'll never be able to replace that time or that vacation or that experience. When you're laying there on your deathbed, you're not going to be thinking, oh God, I'm glad I made such and such. I'm glad I picked up that job. You are going to reflect on the times that you spent with your loved ones, your family, your close people that you love. That's what you're going to be reflecting on. And I think that's so important not to overlook that.
Wow. That's exactly what you said that night when you convinced me to go to Italy again.
I did?
Yeah, you said very much that same thing, and I was hoping that you were going to answer it the same
at least
way.
I'm consistent.
Yeah,
That's
you're
good. I don't even remember that.
You're super consistent.
Yeah.
You don't remember that? We were crying in the kitchen.
Maybe you were crying. I wasn't crying. What the fuck am I going to be crying about? That's like, yeah, I'm glad you're going now. I am. I'm really glad you're going, and I think that's good. I think, why not? If I had to do it over again, I would definitely travel more. I would definitely take more risks. I would definitely be more adventurous for sure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because now I'm too damn old and I don't feel like it. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. So I think that's why I push you so much and your sister so much to, get your shit together and go live your life because it's important.
Mm. And somebody actually wrote in, what traits do you think that you passed on to me?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, like what traits of yours passed on to me? And Samantha.
I think I'm true Libra, so I always balance those scales. So when I think that you picked up when you see somebody angry, instead of going in for the throat and tearing them up, you're like, oh, wait a minute. What made them act out like this? I think that you're good at balancing those scales and being able to step outside of the box and look at things at a more broader perspective. That's one big thing that I think you do. And I think that you're friendly to everyone, which I try to be.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I always, when I meet people, I did learn early on never to judge someone because you just don't know what's inside of that coconut. You know what I mean? You just don't. When you crack that coconut up, it could be just everything. Or it could be a rotten egg. You got to find out.
Wow.
So give them a minute and let them show you who they are. Everybody shows you who they are. It just takes a minute to look.
Thanks, Mom. My belly has been growling this entire time. I think that my listeners are going to really get to know me very personally with my belly sounds. They've been just...
Well, don't do me in the morning. You'll be farting.
Oh my gosh. Well, Mom, thank you so much for sitting down with me in our fairy room and talking to me about all of this very useful advice. And thank you for passing on traits that, you know, have benefited me so much in my life.
You're welcome. No problem.
I love you.
I love you too. Are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, good. Mwah.
Go smoke a cigarette.
Love ya.
Love you too. I love my mother. So if you're interested in getting some of my mom's advice on literally anything, DM me your question at Mandy Brook Official on Instagram. Mandy with a Y, Brook with an E. And if you love this podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe so it becomes visible to more and more besties like you. Until next time, be a fucking delight, bitch.